Hey folks, AJ the CEO here, and in this video we're going to be building a computer, but this one is going to be has a little bit more meaning to it, and I'll explain that later. But let's go ahead and get started. Hey folks, AJ the CEO here. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, thanks for stopping by. And on this channel, we focus on tips, training, strategies, reviews, and builds to help modernize your media ministry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And if you like what we're doing here, consider becoming a patron or a YouTube member by clicking one of the links down below. So let's go ahead and just explain. This is like another computer. I guess this is actually the second build for 2021 that I'm doing. And like I said, this one has a special meaning to this one. I will explain that later. But let's go ahead and cut over to PC Part Picker, and I'm going to explain and show you the parts that we're going to be doing for this computer. And I guess actually before I cut over, maybe I should explain what this system is. This system is going to be for video editing. That's the main focus of it, but it will be capable of doing live streaming, but again, its primary focus is going to be for video editing. And I'm going to explain some of the pros and cons to doing this. And if you wanted to live stream, wink, wink, with this system, what things you would have to change for it to work, because this is built solely for video editing. So let's go ahead and cut over to PC Part Picker. And we are going to explain this system. So let's go ahead and come over here. And it's kind of funny because half the parts that I was going to pick are already on here. Let me shift this over here. All right. So now what we want to do is give this some good power. And right now, good power and a balance of cost. So right now, still my go-to processor right now is the Ryzen 5 3600, right at around $200. Don't have to worry about a CPU cooler because it comes with one. Now for my motherboard, we're going to put some extra power in this. So I am going for a B550, but an ATX motherboard. I personally like the MSI. So this is kind of based off of my streaming system over here, which I am using the MSI B550A Pro. All right. Now for memory, we're going to be going with some G.Skill memory, my favorite memory right now, 16 gigabytes, but it has the potential to go higher. But right now, 16 is more than enough in comparison to the original system that is being used. And we're actually using 3200. Yeah, 3200 memory. So that's right there. All right, now we're doing this a little bit different because this is going to be focused on video editing. So we're going to actually drop two NVMEs in this system. One of them is going to be for the main operating system, but since this is going to be for video editing, the other one is going to be solely for a cache drive, which is similar to how I use my system for video editing. So what we're going to do is I actually got a deal on these. The Western Digital Black SN 750s. So this is two 500 gigabyte ones. So let me go ahead and copy that name here because we're going to get this twice. It's two of these. And that motherboard does support two NVMEs because that's really important. You wouldn't want to get two of them, but then your system can't support it. Now, we're also going to add my typical 2 terabyte Seagate for additional storage just in case. All right. So 3 drives in this system. Now, because we're using the Ryzen 5 3600, you need a dedicated GPU for this. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't go with the graphics card I wanted to because it is very, very tough to try and get a graphics card right now. But in comparison, I think this one is going to give some good power compared to the original system that this ministry is using. So we're going with I don't know why I said 970 is on my mind. We are using an MSI Radeon RX 570. Like I said, I would have at least gone with a 5600 XT. can't find them anywhere. Tried to get a 1660, couldn't find them anywhere. Or the places I did, they were like marked up by like 200%. I am not paying $500 for a 1660 Super. Couldn't find any 2000 series RTX ones. Definitely can't find any 3000 series. And unfortunately, this isn't what I would really like to go with, but it is more than enough to handle video editing to give a boost with that. All right, so I'm just verifying to make sure I am getting the right one. All right, so we got this one right here, the MSI Armor Overclock RX 570 with 8 gigabytes of memory. All right, so what are we looking at right now? 339 watts. All right. Now, for our case, I actually went with a Corsair case, and it's actually on back order, so it hasn't come in yet. But let me grab the exact one that I did. It's the same one that I actually did a review on and by building at my church. And it is the Cooler Master, excuse me, not Corsair, the Cooler Master Masterbox MB600L. All right, that's what we're using. It does have an optical drive bay, even though we're not really using it. And honestly, I think mine does not have it on there, so I'm just going to go with this one for right now. If you see it, you'll when we build it, you'll see it, but it's not going to have. I'm not going to be installing a drive in it. All right. So with this, I'm actually was going with a 600 watt EVGA power supply, bronze, to give us more than enough power. But when I got it, the power supply was damaged. So I am in the process of getting it sent back and get a replacement. But most likely the replacement process is not going to go as fast as I'd like. So I already ordered another 600 watt EVGA that I'm picking up from Best Buy tomorrow. And it was actually marked down by half price. So, hey, so let's go with that. So we got 600 watt EVGA. Boom, just happens to be right at the top. All right, we're going to install Windows, and that's it. Now, one thing I will say about this motherboard, the PCIe lanes, I found this out the hard way with my system. When I tried to install another NVMe inside of it, it knocks out the last couple of PCIe slots. So my capture card would not work until I took the NVMe out. So if whoever's getting this system, if they try to live stream with this, an internal capture card is not the best option. You could take that out and then use the PCIe slot, but you'll be losing the speed performance of that completely. It will probably be better to use a USB one, and I believe they actually have a USB one, but this is mainly for video editing. All right. So that's really it. And this is a gift that I'm giving to this person. And let's go ahead and start putting this thing together, shall we? And I think this is going to be a drastic change to what they were using originally. So let's get the stuff out of the way, and then let's start some awesome music and a building montage. So let's go. All right, so we got the first part done. Mainly, can't really go any further. Technically, I really can. It's going to be extra work. I have another case over here that I could drop this in and I do have a power supply that I could use to start installing everything, but I'd rather not do it that way. I'd rather do the right thing. Now, other thing I will mention in this is I really don't know when I'm installing this which one of the NVMEs is going to be used to be for the main operating system. So I might actually come back in here and take this one out and then start the install of the operating system on this one. And then after the first part of the operating system is installed, then put it in there. I just can't remember. I know it actually tells you to order. I just want to make sure that this is being installed. And the easiest way to do that is just remove this drive out, start the install, and during the reboot, put this one in. So looking at the shipping, it looks like the case should be here by Tuesday. Now, there is another case I really wanted to get, but it was going to be heavily delayed by the time I wanted to get it. But since I got to go to Best Buy tomorrow and pick up the other power supply, so it will be here in time, if they have this this case in stock, I will buy it from there, and then I'll just keep this case and then migrate it over to something else, if possible. And actually, they do have the case available, and I can pick it up tomorrow from the same place where I'm getting the power supply. And the only reason I'm thinking about doing that is the case I got won't be able to take advantage of the USB 3.1 header, but the case, the NZXT H510, actually will. So most likely, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Because if I just do that, then I'll have everything that I need to finish this up. And I can actually finish the install tomorrow and then have this thing possibly shipped out Saturday afternoon, if not first thing Monday morning. And I think I will do that. All right, folks, I am fresh back from Best Buy. Ended up getting another case for this system. And I ended up getting another power supply so I can actually finish up everything right now. So let me get everything out of the way. We ended up going with the same cases that I use for my systems, which is the NZXT H510. Great case, and it also gives a USB-C on the top. So really excited about that, making sure I got everything up and running, because we're going to continue this time lapse and we're going to finish this computer today. So let's cut over and let's go. Alrighty, folks, we are all done. I have the system right there behind me, completely done. So if we jump over here to see, all right, folks, as you can see here, we got our system set up here. Let's go ahead and check out the specs of the system. As you see, we're running a Ryzen 5 3600, 16 gigs of memory. This is a Windows 10 Pro that we got going on here. I'm actually downloading a couple of benchmarks, which I think just finished. Go here to our task manager here. As you see, we got 12 cores. 12 threads. 6 cores, 12 threads. We have our hard drives here. SSD number 1. E is going to be, or the second one is going to be for cache. And we got our storage drive. Should be more than powerful enough. We also have a RX 5700. Like I said, not ideally what graphics card I would have gone with, but that is what was available, and it's honestly kind of hard to get some processors right, GPUs right now. But I think from an editing standpoint, this will help out greatly. I was trying to install the Adobe Cloud for them because I know that's what he uses for his video editing. So let's go ahead and kick off, install superposition. This is another benchmark that kind of leverages some ray tracing, even though ray tracing isn't supported in this, but I believe this does some type of software based. I could be wrong, but just want to see what the performance is. And I'm gonna leave the installs on here. So hopefully when he gets the system, maybe he can download these softwares from here and put it on his laptop of what he was using and then do just a comparison to see the difference in performance that he's going to get. Trying to convince him to go to DaVinci Resolve, but hey, he likes using Premiere and the Adobe stuff. So, hey, hopefully this would get him some more power. But like I said, I really didn't talk that much about who this was for. But this is, this person started off as a subscriber, and we ended up communicating more and more. He gave me some tips on fixing my book when I first came out with it. It has some punctuation and some grammatical stuff, and he helped me with that. And then over time, he asked me about some other things outside of this. I do video work I started off doing video work on Fiverr. Helped him out with that. He wanted some info for him to do the same thing. Helped him out with some stuff there at his ministry. And we just ended up developing a friendship outside of that. Brought him on to do some video work for me under my company with Fiverr, and he was using his laptop, and it would take him quite a while to do some of the rendering stuff. And as a thank you, I want to make sure anybody who's a contractor with me or ultimately an employee, when I start hiring employees for my company, that they have everything that they need to do what they need to do. And decided thankfully, with the profits that came in from last month, I decided to get this system for him and build it so that he could be more effective, not just for me, but for the work that he does for his ministry as well. And great guy. And yeah, but anyway, we're running the benchmark right now. We'll see how this goes. But I'm going to let this run for a little bit, but again, this is all as a thank you to Augustine. Thank you so much there, brother. I hope you get some good use out of this. This will help transform what you're doing with your media ministry, as well as all the assistance that you helped me with. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. This pales into comparison of what I would love to do to thank you for all the stuff that you've done, but hopefully this will help in some way, shape, or form. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I think that's about it. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to let that go, but I will have a link in the description to all the parts that I used for this system. We're going to ship this out maybe today if I can get it out of here in time to my shipper of choice. But either way, hopefully he should have this by next Friday and be able to use it and install everything that he needs so that he can help continue to modernize his media ministry and hopefully open the doors up to other stuff that he's doing with his video editing and the things that he's doing with his ministry. So again, thank you, Augustine. This video and this system is 100% for you. thank you so much for all that you do for me and friendship. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So anyway, folks, if you like this type of content, I appreciate a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. Thank you so much for watching. This is AJ, and we will see you on the next video. Later.